One. So now that we are running more large processes on the virtual machine, I wanted to make an extra little video talking about how to control those jobs a little better. So controlling meaning see what jobs are running, be able to pause jobs or stop jobs or cancel jobs, be able to run something in the background that doesn't print to the screen. And jobs in general are just these commands that we're doing on the virtual machine. So I want to go through a few examples of how to work with some of these commands, and these slides are available in the SNP project slide deck, period 15 through 17, on slide 28 and 29. So check those out for the written guide on this, but we're going to just go through some of this in real time. So I'm going to first log into the virtual machine. I'm already connected to the Global Protect VPN. And I'm going to log in, and of course my password is invisible. And now that I'm in, I'm going to navigate using CD to my project directory that we've been working in. So now that I'm here, I may want to, just run these jobs like singly like we've been doing. So I'm gonna take this copy just from the slides so that I can run one of these and we can test some things with it. So hopefully when I'm copying this won't have added a new line here. It's like an enter key. So this will be on the same line, but we'll see. Sometimes pasting things gets weird. Yeah, it looks a little weird, but it all sort of pasted on one line. I'm just going to kind of go back and check that because that'll cause us issues. So I'm on this E and checking. Okay, that's all right. I'm hopping around using Control A to go to the beginning of the line and Control E to go to the end of the line. And I'm just removing this extra space. Okay, so now this is the command that we started running in class last week. And so, or yesterday, not last week. And so what we're going to do now is I'm going to run this, and it's going to be actively running in the foreground. So it's not going to let us do anything else on the command line while this is running. But we're going to use some of these tools. So I'm going to hit enter, and looks like oh yeah, so it looks like it did paste on two lines. You can see that because when I use the up key to go back through my commands, one solid command by itself looks like this mPileup, which should be part of this other one. So I'm going to copy this and then hit my up key one more time to go to the last command before this one, and then I'm going to paste it at the end. So this is the first part of the command that pasted because the other part didn't. So I'm just going to paste it in there. And then hopefully this will run correctly if I have all the files in the right place. Which actually, I'm looking now, and I don't think that I do have them in the right place, because I need to specify the location of these trimmed files. So I need to go and say that they're in my fastp directory here for both the forward and the reverse read files. So hopefully this will work. So now this process is running. Like this is what we saw in class, where it's just kind of hanging here. And we can't, we can press enter or whatever, but it's not going to do anything. So that means this process is running in the foreground. To pause the program or to put it in the background, we can use Control Z. So not Control C. Control C will stop it, but Control Z. So Control Z will pause the run. So I've paused this. So it says stopped, and it tells me the command that was paused. And then if I look in the slides here, I can use this FG or BG command, depending on if I want to bring this command back online to the foreground, just have it running exactly like it was before, picking up from where it left off. Or I can say BG to ask it to run in the background. So that'll mean that it will get off my screen. So I'm going to run it in the background, and all I have to do here is type BG. And this only works for the last command that you ran. So you can't have many commands running and work these commands. It has to be the last command you ran and then paused with Control Z that you can use these. So I'm going to do that again, actually. I'm going to use FG to foreground the command again, and then I'm going to pause it again with Control Z just to demonstrate that once more. And you can see that it even shows that I used the Control Z command here. So I'm going to do FG to bring that command back into the foreground, like this. So it's running just like it was before, picked up where it left off. And now I'm going to hit Control Z again to pause that once again. Here we go. So instead of FG, if I type BG, this will send the process to the background. So now it tells me the command, and then at the end it shows this character, this ampersand character, this and character. If we add this to the end of a command, like if I just wrote, this on the command line, this would automatically run it in the background. Adding this and sign, this ampersand here, allows things to be run in the background so that we can still do stuff, right? Like ls, like move around like we were, right? So that is these commands, but I might want to see what jobs are running. So you can do a command jobs-l, or ps is another way to do it that gives you a little bit of different information. So I would use jobs-l. And it tells you what processes are running. And so the first column here shows a job ID, a process ID. And this is a number, a unique number for each of these jobs. And you'll see actually that it splits this command across 3 different jobs because it's piped for 3 different commands, right? Bowtie2 is our first step, samtools sort is our second step, and samtools mpilup is our third step. So if we want to stop this job, we needed the process ID. So we need to copy this process ID. And you can see that the process ID shows up down here too for, kind of the underneath what it's running on. So you use jobs-l and you can do kill the process ID from the jobs-l command. So I can do this. And then now when I say jobs-l, well, it's still running. So it ignored me. Sometimes you have to do a few other things. I don't know. I honestly forget how kill works, so I'm going to use the man command, man kill, to look at the manual. So we use the PID here. I'm just looking to see. This is not what I intended to make this video about, but it's very much how bioinformatics goes. I'm still surprised that this process is not running, but I'm actually going to try the PID from this PS command instead, since this is running the bowtie line. So let's try that PID and see. Okay, so it's now ending the process. It just killed bowtie, which is then causing issues in samtools sort. So you can just kind of hit enter until all that goes away, because it eventually, if the first command is killed, then the second and third commands aren't going to work either. So you can see here that now it says exit. So it looks like maybe the job ID to take from for killing any commands is PS. So right now, PS, no jobs are running. Bash is the language of the shell, this environment that we're running in. That's the language that this environment is working in, and so it's always running. And we'll come back to Bash in just a minute when we talk about perhaps automating files or automating these runs. So that is how to generally control jobs, to pause them, to get their process IDs, to restart them. And so what I want y'all to get from that is that adding the and character at the end here will run a process in the background. And then there's another command you should also know that will help you not only run the process in the background, but also will make sure that the process keeps running even if you get disconnected from the computer. Because this and character, it'll stop things from printing to the screen, from printing to standard out, but it won't prevent the process from stopping if your computer gets disconnected. So we need another command to do that. And so oftentimes we use these together. So I'm going to hop to the beginning of the line. Right now I'm at the end of the line, and I'm going to hop to the beginning of the line using Control A. So Control A will hop me to the beginning of this line, and I'm going to add this no hup right here. So if I add this word no hup, which stands for no hang up from the virtual machine, if I run this before the other commands, if I put it before the other commands, it will allow this process to run with no hang up signal. So the process won't be disconnected even if you log off or disconnected. So when we use these together, this means that we're running this so that it can't be disconnected if we're disconnected from the computer. And then I hop to the end with Control E to show this ampersand as well. We'll run it in the background. So I'm going to hit enter on this, and then we're going to look at something interesting. Actually, before I do that, I need to just do one thing that I'm not saying you should do. I just needed to clean up that environment for this demonstration. So now I'm running this command with no hup and with the and character at the end. And you'll see that it just ran in the background, and it actually gave me the process ID for the whole job when I initially ran it. So I'm going to copy this ID. I can use PS to see if this matches up with anything, and it looks like it does. So that's the one we're going to use. But when we run things with nohup, they create a file called nohup.out. And if we look at that file using cat, which will print the entire thing to our screen, nohup.out. Well, so it's not created yet. Okay. But what will happen is if there's any progress messages or any other standard error or standard output, it would be going to this nohup file. And so when we run processes with nohup, it's a good idea to check the file, the nohup file, a few times before you shut your computer down and walk away, just to get a sense that the program is running. But you can also use tools like PS, like all these other things, to see what processes are already running. So I'm going to use this ID to stop this job again. So that is also in the slides here as well, this no hup, no hang up. And so that is the way to run these commands in the background. So you could do multiple things with this. So you can run, for one of these read sets, ERR40, right? You could start this, and then you could run another one. So if you change, the right accession numbers, right? We're going to do ERR41. Moving through the command line. Change this to 1 and one more time. And so now with this process running in the background, I can go ahead and already run the second command in the background as well. So now I have two processes that are running at the same time. And of course, this makes it, possible to run things a lot faster and not wait to do these sequentially. So I'm going to go ahead and kill these jobs. And then if this is,